the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. So be it, Jedi.
Hello, everybody. It's Thursday night, and welcome back to the Geek News Now Cantina Happy Hour. I am your host, David. We're here to talk Star Wars, all things Star Wars this and Star Wars that, and everything related to Star Wars. With me, as always, is Debbie. How are you, Debbie?
Good. Excited to talk about some Star Wars, especially Clone Wars.
Yes, we are. What we're gonna do for the next couple of weeks, at least until Andor starts, is we're gonna look at some of our favorite arcs of the Clone Wars. And when I say arcs, I mean like 3 to 4 episodes or longer. That way it gives us an excuse to go back and watch the Clone Wars. So not the little one shots. I don't like, and I know there was one or two that was like Jar Jar intensive, but I don't think we're gonna touch those.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was like an episode where Jar Jar like actually outsmarted General Grievous, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was, and
he had a girlfriend.
Yeah,
best episode ever.
And that one with toward the end with all the droids, and they're in the nothing zone with the one little commander guy who was hiding in. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't like those.
Anyway,
I usually skip those.
Speaking of which, with us always again is Cam. How are you, Cam?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, we're good. Everything's good. Nice and warm here. So.
Oh yeah, and then some.
Nice and warm everywhere. Somebody the other day was complaining about the heat, and I was like, it's July. It's Texas. This is nothing new. Yeah, but it's 100-degree days. I'm like, exactly. It's the summer. Well, welcome to Texas. How long have you lived here? Anyway, I get ahead of myself. So quick programming note. We are not going to be live next week. I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be attending a wedding, and I will completely not even be here. So if you still need your GNN fix, watch one of our past episodes, whichever one was your favorite.
There's always MCU Mondays.
And there's always MCU Mondays. I will be there for MCU Mondays. It's just not Cantina Happy Hour Thursdays. Also, we had they put out the news, and I guess they made it official. I don't know if they made it official a long time ago or whatever. Andor is coming on August the 31st, and it's dropping the first 2 episodes on that day. This, I think I'm going to call it a season because I think they've already renewed for a second season. But this season will be 12 episodes long. And we were just discussing that. Is it going to be 12 one-hour episodes, or will it be 12 half-hour episodes? Or are they going to say, well, we're going to give you some big ones and some short ones? So
Never know with Disney.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. This one was what I wanted Rebels to be. This is the way I wanted Rebels to be, with them building the rebellion and creating the rebellion. This is what I wanted to see. Not a little ragtag group on a planet nobody's ever heard of. But again, that's just me. So something else that did happen this week, we had the Andor TV spot drop, at least the first TV spot, and it's got a whole bunch of new. We're going to look at that, but also, and I found one of these, is they've got a very rough cut of the Ahsoka series that's coming out, I believe, later this year. I don't know a date on that exactly.
I think it's next year.
Is it next year? I thought it was this year, and they pushed Mando back to February.
For Ahsoka?
For Ahsoka,
I honestly don't. I honestly don't remember. Last I knew, I think it was next year, but could be wrong. Things change.
if we're here and you're in the chat and shoot us a note. Let us know. Yeah, chat with us. We love listening to you. Come watch us. Come talk to us. We'll answer questions. We'll make funny faces if you want us to. It's all kinds of fun. There you go. All right. So first off, we're gonna drop this. We're gonna look at this. This is the Andor trailer. We're gonna check this one out, and let's. Nope. There we go.
So proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. These days will end. There will be no rules going forward. People are standing up. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
Andor, original Star Wars series streaming August 31st, only on Disney+.
Very cool. I'm so looking forward to seeing this, just because I like Cassian Andor as a character. I also noticed too, we've got oh gosh, I can't think of his name, from Thor in there. So we've got another crossover from either Marvel to Star Wars or Star Wars to Marvel. There's a lot of people doing that these days. Anyway, what are your thoughts, Debbie?
I'm still looking forward to it. I'm hoping this will show a little bit of the grittier side of the Star Wars universe, because he's a spy, and he's not going to do he's going to do some not so nice things, probably, kind of like he did in Rogue One, where he shot his friend.
He shot the guy. He shot the sword.
I think he'll start out. It kind of looks like it might start out like him as a kid in, what he's saying in the movie, 6 years old, 7 years old.
Yeah, I've been in this since I was 6 years old. Yeah, something like that.
So, I assume we'll kind of either get flashbacks, or that's where it'll start, maybe for, first part of the show.
Well, I mean, since these Star Wars shows have kind of taken up embracing the memes, I felt honestly, I feel like after the Lucasfilms logo goes away, the screen fades to black, and you hear Cassian give a narration. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old, and then boom, cold open to like him as a child running away from a battle droid or something.
I could see that. There you go. John Descartes looking out for us. Here we go. Geek and I podcast. If you get a chance, go listen to the Geek and I podcast. They're great. Stellar Skarsgård.
And it does say Ahsoka 2023.
So Ahsoka is next year. Okay, so that raises an interesting question. We'll look at the Ahsoka trailer here in just a minute, because there was something that, I'll look at it in a minute. But Andor, we're dealing with rebels. Are we going to see Hera? Will we see? Do you think we'll see any of the characters from? I mean, maybe not necessarily Kanan Jarrus or Ezra, for that matter.
Well, by the time the series takes place, Kanan might already be dead.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Yeah, because they're looking. Well, at least Ahsoka was looking for Ezra, but something that confused me, and I don't know who said it. I don't know. I don't think it was Rosario Dawson, but somebody on the cast said something about, because I think the question was asked, do I need to watch Rebels to understand what's going on? And this person said something like, no, you don't have to watch Rebels. This is like a standalone thing. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. That makes no sense, because you're on the hunt for Ezra. I mean, that's what she was doing in Mando. She was trying to get information about where Thrawn and Ezra was. Well, where Thrawn is, because wherever Thrawn is, that's where Ezra is.
Where Ezra is, yeah.
Yeah, presumably. Well, we'll see.
I'm still of the mind that neither one of them made that. They may have cast Ezra, but maybe they'll use him in a flashback. Maybe I'll get lucky.
No more flashbacks.
We like the flashbacks.
Oh. I think something.
We'll see.
Go ahead, Debbie.
We'll see Thrawn. And I don't know
in
if
Andor?
Ahsoka's a one deal thing, one season thing or not, but eventually, if we don't see him in this season, we'll eventually see him. But what was your question?
Me?
Yeah,
Whoever.
Oh,
you
oh,
started
no.
talking about something.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, I was gonna say, I'm actually, well, I mean, I know that I've said before that I'm not really particularly super stoked for the Cassian series just because I didn't really connect with that character before. But the more that I think about it, even if I didn't connect with that character before, I think what I can connect with is uh, seeing more of how the Empire affects the smaller people.
Yeah.
You know, because if you think back to the original trilogy, besides the Death Star blowing up Alderaan, we didn't particularly see how the Empire affected the galaxy at large. We didn't see how the common person was, downtrodden and all that. And we have been seeing a lot of that lately, with Rebels, with Rogue One, and stuff like that. So I think that really having the opportunity to flesh that idea out more is what is going to endear me more to that character. Because from the way that he narrated that TV spot, watching them get fat and lazy or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Um,
and it was such a good visual image too of the Imperial officers, and they look like me, and they're
yeah. What, like we know the Empire is evil, but I think what's really going to be refreshing is watching the hatred for the Empire build up in this character.
And it's and he had a lot of that hatred in Rogue One. I mean, you could tell he was just not a happy camper. So yes, seeing the either the build up or the I mean, and even to some lesser degree, maybe even because this was one of the reasons I liked Rogue One. Well, one of the minor reasons was that it didn't deal with the Force and the Jedi, and it wasn't the mystical side of Star Wars. It was the real side of Star Wars. And one of the things interesting too that he said in that movie was sometimes I think the Force and I have different plans. When they were sitting, everybody sits in a cage, and your cage, you build your own cage, and blah, blah, blah. You think the Force will let us out of here, all this other stuff. And so to sit there and see his hatred against the Empire, I'm curious as to his relationship too with the Force. And is that going to come into play, or are they just going to strictly leave it alone and said, nope, we're going to make a war movie? So either way,
I'd be down for the war movie.
Either way, I'm fine with it. Don't matter to me.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna look at this Ahsoka clip. This was taken at they just had celebration. It's pretty rough. It's a lot rougher, in fact, than the Mando season 3 that we looked at last week, but you can still see some cool stuff in it. The sound is terrible. In fact, I don't even think that it's the real sound that goes with that. But hey, we got some clips, so let's take a peek. Have either one of you seen this yet?
I haven't. No.
I've seen it on TikTok.
Okay. And that is pretty much
Oh geez.
I'm telling you, it's rough.
Yeah, this is not the original sound because what I watched had the audience reaction and everything. So, and you could hear kind of what was being said, but kind of not. So,
well, I mean, I'm glad that they ended it. Sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say so this is one of those things that Lucasfilm's been taking down all over the place. So by the time I was able to find a copy of it, it was like, well, it doesn't have any sound, but we'll make it work. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad that they ended that trailer on the mural of Ezra and Sabine, because I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it was sometime either like early this year or late last year. They did find someone to play live action Sabine.
Mhm.
So it kind of brings it back to what that cast member said about not having to have watched Rebels to know what's going on. It's like, yeah, well, I'm sure that they'll present the story in a way that will make sense even if you haven't seen it. But I mean, I'm sure it's going to be one of those things that heavily rewards you for having watched it.
And here, I mean, I'm not gonna make any assumptions about this just because the color scheme lines up and everything. I'm gonna say this is Hera. I'm calling this now.
Yeah.
I mean, just she's green. She's got the tentacles. The outfit looks right. If you want to argue with me, great, go ahead. But that's my opinion. It looks like Hera.
Well, I'm sure that between this show and the Cassian series, I'm sure we're going to see Hera at some point because she was there at the Battle of Scarif. So I mean,
well, she's even made an appearance now in the Bad Batch. They did the
Yep.
There was 2 or 3 Bad Batch episodes that was her and Omega. Whatever. I'm looking forward to this. I would like to see a better, cleaner trailer, which again, San Diego Comic-Con's going on this weekend. We may get these this weekend. It's possible. It's possible that they could release all of this stuff this weekend. Just saying, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
Hera, we get some kind of droid here. I don't know.
I think the only person we don't see is Zeb.
Yeah, and that's gonna be very interesting. And the only reason I say that's gonna be interesting is, back a long time ago. For those that don't know, I hang on a minute. Let's do this. There we go. For those that don't know, I collect Legos. What you see here is about a third of what I've got. Maybe a quarter, but I've got a lot more. Anyway, one of the figures that I have or one of the ships that I've got, the Phantom from Rebels. None of my Rebel sets are up except for the Phantom and Captain Rex.
You mean the Ghost?
I'm sorry, Ghost. Yes, the Ghost.
I was confused. I was like, was it the Phantom?
Well, the Phantom was the smaller ship that flew out of the little shuttle, the shuttle pod. Isn't that what they call it in Star Trek? Anyway, so one of the figures that was with the Ghost was the Zeb figure, and that was the only set he ever came in, and that figure is like insane now. If you want to buy that figure, it costs a lot. So yes, I would love to see him come back and they make more Lego figures out of him. That would be amazing. I would like that. But yes, you're right. Zeb is the only one. I don't think we've seen Sabine yet either. Which she may not. She's most likely just going to be... again, I don't think it would surprise me at all if we saw her in Mando Season 3.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I almost thought that we were going to see her in Season 2. But before they took off their helmets, yeah. I thought that she was one of the ones who came to his rescue.
And that would make sense because, gosh, I can't think of her name.
Bo-Katan?
Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah.
That's like her aunt or her niece.
I don't remember.
They're related. They're family. They're related somehow or another. I don't recall. I'd have to go back and watch the episode. But anyway, so all of this is all Star Wars stuff. This is coming up. soon. Coming soon to a galaxy near you. Was that for Cam's water? Cam's funny sounding water?
Oh yeah, it squeaks and I don't know why.
It's okay. We've all got our. You got to have your water. I gotta have my.
Yeah.
Got my lattes going and my Pepsi. Okay, let's talk about this week. So we want to talk about now. We want to look at some of our favorite arcs from the Clone Wars. If anything, just to give us an excuse to go back and watch the Clone Wars more because it was such an amazing series. So the one we've picked for this week that I've chosen was the Mortis arc, season 3, episodes 15, 16, and 17. This was the one with where Anakin and Obi-Wan were responding to a distress call, and they ended up on this planet where you had the father, the son, and the daughter, and the son represented the dark side, daughter represented the light side, and the father was the one that kept balance. He's the one that kept one from becoming too strong or not too strong. This, to me, started kind of slow, but as it got into it, a lot of the symbolism within this one, just within the arc itself, was it was very interesting to watch, especially on a second and third viewing, because I'm looking at it going, oh my gosh, it's telling the story, not telling the story of Anakin, but it's showing Anakin what he's going to do. There was one scene, and I think it was in the third episode, maybe the second episode, to where Ahsoka was kidnapped by the brother. They were trying to leave the planet. Ahsoka gets kidnapped, and Anakin goes after her. Well, Obi-Wan, the centered sound, voice of reason, said, we need to go to the father and get her back. That we can go talk to the father and he'll control the son and the son will bring her back. But Anakin runs. He's like, forget this. I'm going to go get her myself. And he runs to the dark side, the brother, the dark side. And I'm looking at it going, okay, this is the exact same thing that happened in The Last Jedi. And we didn't even realize it because The Last Jedi, Rey was having her vision of the Force and, I see life and death and balance and blah, blah, blah. And then she says, and I see this one place. And he said, no, that's the dark side. Get out of there. And he knocked her off and she said, it was calling me. It wanted to show me something. And he said, yeah, it was trying to tempt you. It was showing you what you wanted most. It was going to tell you what you wanted most. And you didn't even turn around from it. You went straight into it.
Yep.
And that was the same thing that Anakin did. He did, he wanted Ahsoka back. That's what he wanted at that moment. And he ran to the dark side. He didn't stop to think about it and say, okay, we need to collect our thoughts and figure out what we're going to do. But man, it was so, I really, really enjoyed the symbolism within this arc. Thoughts? Am I crazy?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It was definitely interesting to see the Force explored more in its mystical elements because, throughout the films and a lot of the shows and basically Star Wars in general, you have your explanation of the forces, this all uniting energy, binds everything together, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a very utilitarian type of outlook on the Force. So it was interesting to see that more mystical side of it explored. It doesn't necessarily show us where the Force comes from, but it shows us what the Force is on a more spiritual level.
And I think too, because it, there were several times where they said, I'm a Jedi and you're a Sith. And that was, those words were thrown around. And every time they were thrown around, it was like, you don't even know. You're dealing with something bigger than Sith and Jedi. You know, this is just a faction of what we're dealing with. I mean, we'll look at it and from a look at it from like I can't even think, like Christianity. Look at it like Christianity. Okay, you're a Baptist and you're a Catholic, and you're kind of on the same team. You're just in different hands. You know. You anyway. Debbie, thoughts?
Yeah. The part where, and I believe this is the first episode, the father, you know, he's telling Anakin that after Anakin passes his test and whatnot, he says, "You are the chosen one. You know, you're supposed to take my place, yada, yada, yada." And, you know, because he's basing it on, once again, this prophecy, which, you know, do we know where this prophecy even came from? I mean, did it come from him and somebody, you know, I mean, from my understanding, they've been on this planet for eons. I guess they once were in the corporeal world. But it's just like, you know, is that where that prophecy came from? Or is he just interpreting it the way he thinks it should be?
I would almost say that yes, it's probably not, maybe not where it came from necessarily. Yeah, maybe, because I mean, this may be one of those things where somebody has stumbled on it before and said, "We're waiting for," and they said, "Hey, Dad's getting old. We need somebody to keep it in balance. There's a chosen one coming that will be able to balance the force. We'll be able to keep it in balance."
And then I have a question because, and my daughter brought it up earlier today, but it's bothered me. Why does the brother look like an inquisitor?
I was actually thinking the same thing.
Why? He looks exactly like the Inquisitor from Rebels.
Really
you're trying to say that all Utapauans are Inquisitors? Racist.
Racist, damn racist.
I'm just saying that he looks like an Inquisitor. Or, you know, the markings and everything. I'm like, okay, is that where they got started from?
Well, okay, fine. If you're going to answer that question, why does the daughter glow? She's the only one that glows.
The light side, duh. What do light bulbs do, sir?
I knew that was coming. I saw that one coming a mile away. Anyway, again, light glows. If you'll notice, every time the brother was on, it was dark. Just saying. Dark side. But then we had, at some point, we had Anakin accepting his role. And I thought this was really good. He showed him the vision of what he was going to do, which was, of all the visions in Clone Wars and Star Wars, that's probably my favorite one. Just because it deals, Darth Vader is far and away my favorite character. And not just because he's cool and he looks cool and he breathes funny and whatever. That's all frosting on the cake. It's the story, the redemption story of him, and how he went from this innocent little kid to a evil icon across the galaxy, running the galaxy, Iron Thumb, the whole bit. And then he was able to redeem himself. Well, his son was able to redeem him. Excuse me. He was able to be redeemed. He was redeemable. So Darth Vader's always by far and away been my favorite character. The vision that Anakin has, where they show a lot of not really clips from the Revenge of the Sith, but stuff you would think, okay, this is what he's done in Revenge of the Sith. He's killing Padawan or killing younglings and
choking Padme,
fighting Obi-Wan, and then of course the Darth Vader helmet itself. And then what tops it off is where the vision happened. And the uh-oh. I think my cat's running around in my Legos. She knocked something over. Anyway, demon beast. Anyway, but where it happens, it's in the center of the planet, lava flowing, and it's like I'm looking at it going, he took him to Mustafar. Look at this. It's everything's lining up. It's poetry. Anyway, thoughts on the not prophecy necessarily, but the vision, because there was a lot of visions in this.
Yeah, we got
arc.
Kenobi spoke with Qui-Gon. Ahsoka spoke to her older self, with the older self giving her the warning, you need to get away from Anakin.
Qui-Gon and Anakin talked. And I believe that was Liam Neeson, if I'm not mistaken, that was voicing him. So good on you, Liam. Continuing on the role.
Yeah, I thought the visions, all of them, I mean, they all pretty much came true. And, you know, because Ahsoka ended up leaving. And
Dave Filoni knew what he was doing, I'm sure.
Hmm?
Like, here, we'll make this line up. We'll forget the poetry. We're going to go haiku on this one.
But yeah, and what gets me is that, I mean, I know Anakin doesn't remember because the father erased it.
Right.
But the other two, that didn't happen, but yet it's never talked of ever again. Why? They never discuss it. They don't compare notes like, hey, I talked to Qui-Gon. Well, I talked to my older self. And of course, Anakin would be like, I don't know. I didn't talk to anybody. So
I didn't have a vision.
So yeah, I just thought that was odd, and it's been a while since I've watched Clone Wars, but I don't think they ever touched on, the three of them ever touched on that subject ever again.
I'm wondering if it had something to do with maybe it was okay. So we're gonna forget Anakin because, or I say we're gonna forget. We're gonna make Anakin forget because he has accepted his role as I'm a bad guy now. I'm evil, and all this other stuff, and with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, they may have looked at that thinking, well, did it really happen or did it not really happen? Because at the end of the episode, they find their fleet, or they find the ship that they were looking for, and Rex says, we lost contact with you for a minute. He's like, we've been gone for more than a minute. So maybe that was just one of those things where they're like, well, we just had a vision and we don't know how to interpret it at this point. It was just a vision of Mortis, and we weren't really there.
It could be one of those things where it's the vision is so much like a dream that they start to forget it as soon as they come out of it.
And that's possible too. And if that's the point, then what was the point of getting them there?
See if Anakin was the chosen one.
Because it looks cool.
Because it looks cool. We need a show.
Yeah, I going back to the father's prophecy on whether or not Anakin was the chosen one. You know, he talks about having, balance, which I don't, at that point in time, there is no balance in Anakin. I don't know how he expected him to take his place. But the thing is, with the Force, I mean, I know we talk a lot about how the Force is everything. It's, it surrounds us, it's in us, blah, 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 blah. And they talk about this prophecy. But for me, it's like anybody could be that prophecy, because we all, I don't know very many people who are just completely good, that they never ever have bad thoughts or anything. The Force, and I'm not talking magical, but the Force within each of us, we're always fighting that battle, that struggle to be good, to be bad, to be selfless, to be compassionate, or to be selfish. Yeah. So, and I think even George Lucas kind of said the same thing, and I can't remember what. I think it might have been on a DVD. I don't know if it was Attack of the Clones or maybe it was Revenge of the Sith. The commentary he did for the movie, I think he kind of says that same thing, where, it's that constant battle within yourself to be good or to be bad. One slip one way might be okay for a small moment in time, but if you keep going one way, the dark side, then it's going to consume you like the dark side does. So
yeah,
that's my take.
And people keep saying, oh, he's going to bring the Force into balance. He's going to bring the Force into balance. And I always looked at that. Especially when the prequels were out, and it's like, oh, he's the chosen one. He's going to bring Force to balance. And I'm thinking, okay, what's the balance here? And then I was like, oh, well, he had twins. He had Luke and Leia, and that's the balance. He had a son and a daughter, and they were both Force users and all this other stuff. But then I got to thinking, and I was like, but it doesn't have to do balance like that. It's balance like light side and dark side. And if you go straight to the light side, you're not balanced anymore. And the same thing, you go straight to the dark side, again, you're not balanced. So how does one bring balance to the Force? Are we talking gray Jedi here?
That's the way I've always looked at, because the Father to me was kind of like, I know people are going to be bitching, but there's no such thing as a gray Jedi. But who else would have that balance between, the son who is, dark side, and the daughter who represents the light side, to keep both of them in balance? Who else would do that but a gray Jedi?
I'm not going to argue that the concept of the gray exists, but if it's the Father, I don't know that I'd call him a gray Jedi, because to call him a Jedi would imply that he's part of that religion.
You're dealing with factions. You're dealing with sex. So
he's a gray god. I mean, they're gods, so
little
gray god. But I think in a lot of ways, Qui-Gon was kind of gray. I mean, maybe not totally, but in a lot of ways.
Well,
I always...
It was a lot more than what you're thinking, because Obi-Wan even said something, what was the line? It was, if you'd keep your views in check or something, you'd be on the council. Something along that lines.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that but besides Ahsoka in Mandalorian, I'd say that Qui-Gon's about as close to gray as anybody within the Jedi Order would get, because he didn't believe. Well, I'm not going to say he didn't believe, but he wasn't following what was called the quote unquote unifying force. He was more into the living force, which was. Right. Which I can't explain it myself without sounding like a complete fool. but the unifying force and the living forces are two completely different ideas.
And honestly too, because you say there, you sit there and you said that with the living force, and that was one of the things I noticed while watching this too, was that you had the dark side of the force and the brother, you had the light side, and then you had the father, and that's who Obi-Wan said when Anakin ran off to go chase Ahsoka. He's like, no, we got to go talk to the father. Obi-Wan, I think, was a lot more in tune with, because Qui-Gon was his master, he was in tune with the living force, and maybe that father, that's what that was, that's what his role was. He was the living force. He was just the force. He was neither good nor bad. He was just the force. He was the, I see life and death and right and what's in between it. Balance. That's what's between it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thoughts. Makes you scratch your head and go, So.
And also, which my daughter also brought up, and I had totally forgot because it's been so long since I'd seen it, but in Rebels, we see, I can't remember the episode, but it's the mural of the father, the son, and the daughter, which leads to the in-between worlds.
The world beyond,
or worlds in between, or
world between worlds, or something.
Yeah, and I think that there is
the Star Wars multiverse. That's what that is.
Yeah, that there is like, oh shoot, and I just read it too. Somebody was saying the father was explaining the fluidity of the force or something like that, and that's what the world in between worlds kind of was.
Kind of like the idea that the force transcends time and space.
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna have to do a rewatch of Rebels along with Clone Wars.
Yeah,
I think that was season 2, I believe, of Rebels.
Yeah, I had totally forgot about it until she sent me a picture of that, and then it just like, oh yeah, worlds in between worlds.
Well, I remember the uproar that started because of that. Like, everybody was talking about like, oh well, they're going to use this to retcon this, and they're going to use it to retcon this, and it's like okay, if they do that, they're taking away from everything that the Force represents in Star Wars in general. It's like all is as the Force wills it. You know, I mean, yeah, even within the series, you know, Ahsoka stopped Ezra from, you know, saving Kanan because it's like, no, it happened exactly how it was supposed to happen. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here right now. Yeah. So, I love.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't have much to add. I was just being redundant.
No, I was gonna say, because you said that the line, it all is as the Force wills it. And somebody came up with a theory just based on that line. And I saw this on, I don't know, Facebook or Twitter or something, where it said something along the lines of, that's why the stormtroopers seem like they can't hit crap, because they're always shooting at the heroes, and all is as the Force wills it. And you need the heroes to survive. You need them to live. And the same thing with Chirrut, and when he went to the, you know, you've got the Death Troopers, and they couldn't miss, or not the Death Troopers, the Dark Troopers, I think is what they call them.
No, those are the Death Troopers.
It was the Death Troopers. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you had the Death Troopers, and they were shooting at him, and they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. All of a sudden, all is as the Force wills it. They needed him to get to the communications console and turn the switch. So yeah, okay, we'll buy into the mystical all is as the Force wills it. We'll start telling people that too. Darn it, I stubbed my toe. All is as the Force wills it.
He might get smacked a few times.
I don't remember where this was, but somebody in the United States started like an actual Church of the Jedi and turned it into like a commercialized religion. And so now I'm just thinking it's like, so somebody goes in for Jedi confessional, and this guy behind the screen is just like, "It's okay, my son. All is as the Force wills it." It's like, no, I mugged a guy. Like,
I think they even went so far as to they were trying to get tax exempt status too. If it wasn't here, it was in Australia for some reason. Oh no, Australia was they were doing a census, and one of the questions on the census was, "What's your religion?" And they were trying to get Jedi in as their religion of choice. I even thought once, and I tried to get them to do this for me, but they wouldn't. But when I was in the Army and I had my dog tags, one of the things that they put on there is your religion, so they know your burial preferences. And I tried to get them to put Jedi on my dog tags, but they wouldn't do it.
Could have had a funeral pyre.
That would have been awesome. Burn me. Set up a bunch of sticks and burn me.
yes, while everybody stands around whispering conspiratorially with each other.
Exactly. Always two there are.
Which was destroyed? The Master or the Apprentice? And meanwhile, whoever shot you is in the back just...
You could even write a piece of music called David's Untimely End.
and have it released in the soundtrack before the film. So that way they know you're going to die.
We discussed that last week. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Noble End. It was the Noble End, not Untimely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. David's Noble End. Somebody write me some music. It'll be great. Okay. Debbie, do we have anything? I know you've got pages and pages of notes.
I didn't get a chance to type them up today, so they're all written. Half of it I can't read because I was writing real fast. And it was so good.
Did you write it all in medical professional shorthand?
No. But yeah, it was just usually I type them up at work real quick, and because they have a printer, I don't, so I can type it up and just print it out. And I did not get that chance today because we were slammed at work. So you can ask Cam. I'll look over my notes real quick.
Stephanie Barton, if you are watching,
she should be.
Did you get your package? I sent your printout on Monday, somewhere in there. I just didn't know if it was there or not yet. And I'm too late.
She has not said anything to me, so.
Oh.
Nope, she has not.
Oh. I tell you what, I'll go see if I can't hunt down the what you call it? The tracking number, and we'll find out where it is. But Stephanie won something. I've got more stuff I'm going to give away later on. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it during Andor or if I want to wait, because it's a lot of Mandalorian stuff. Wait for Mando season 3.
I do want to mention, of course, the music, even though it wasn't John Williams. I don't know if it was who did the music for Clone Wars? I think Kevin Kinner. Sorry if I murdered your name. But yeah, there was a lot of foreshadowing music in those episodes.
A lot of what do they say? Music based on music by John Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I really liked throughout Clone Wars. I really liked the way they did their music, except for the 1 or 2 episodes that did rock for some reason. It just did not fit.
What do you mean? Return of the Jedi wasn't in Clone Wars?
I don't know. It just did not fit. No, kitty.
Kevin Kiner. Kevin Kiner.
No, Kenny, this is my papa.
No, Kenny, that's a bad Kenny.
What was the name? Kevin Kiner?
Kiner, Kiner.
I thought so.
Let's see. Grant is on. Have y'all seen the Book of Boba Fett Season 2 teaser? Yes, we have. We actually watched it on the show last week.
No.
No? Oh, no, not the Book of Boba Fett.
I didn't know they had
one. We watched Mando.
No, I have not seen the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, if that's out. I haven't seen it on TikTok.
I haven't seen any. Oh, you know what? Maybe I did see something.
Or is he talking Mando?
I don't know.
Because Boba Fett will be in Mando.
They must not have gotten the bootleg yet.
Yeah, I still think Book of Boba Fett needed to just be called The Mandalorian, and we'll call that season 3.
What, Mace was in it?
Mace?
That sounds fan made to me. That sounds very fan made.
My leg.
If it was, hey Grant, look at it. Was it screen culture? Because if it's screen culture, it's wrong.
Yeah,
all kinds of wrong.
They always put out their own.
Look at when it was posted too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, despite how rabid Star Wars fans are, there is no way that a teaser would have premiered at Star Wars Celebration that featured Mace Windu in it, and it wouldn't have broken the internet.
Oh yeah, everything would have blown up. I mean, that would be as big as when they announced, Kenobi got his own series. They're gonna do a Disney Plus series about Kenobi. That was like.
Yeah, I mean that would be like, Spider-Man No Way Home showing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in it.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that you'd see that in a trailer.
No. Are you watching it, Debbie? Or are you looking for it?
I'm watching what I found.
When was it posted?
A year and a half ago. When they announced Book of Boba Fett Season 1.
They just went back and changed the title.
Oh.
Says, I was in stitches, his eyes were exorcist.
Oh, that can't be right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, this was posted March 17th, and it did have Mace in it, but it said coming in 2022. It was uploaded by Big Fan Trailers, so by that title alone, I would assume it's a fan made.
Send it to me. I'll look at it. I just want to see. I enjoy watching the fan made trailers. Going, wow. There's a lot of them too, where you can watch them and you'll be like, yeah, this is really cool. It looks really good, except you used all clips from the previous seasons to create your trailer. There's nothing.
I can't remember what this was a trailer for, but I think it was a trailer for a comic book film or something. But like half the shots in there were from Inception. So it's like, who are you trying to fool? Come on.
You know what? There was. I'm gonna relate to you a war story. So, when I was in Iraq, we had there was the leader of this mosque. I won't say his name or anything, but he was very popular. He was the bigwig, and he did not like Americans, and he did not like the American involvement in the war and all this other stuff. And he spoke openly against Americans and everything else. Well, we came across this DVD of these Iraqi singers, and they were singing about him and how great he is and how he's doing everything that he can to fight the Americans and all this other stuff. Well, it's a music video is really what it boiled down to. Well, the music video showed all kinds of these Iraqis, and they were, shooting machine guns or firing off anti-aircraft. And every time they would shoot the machine gun, it would show the clip from Black Hawk Down where the helicopter actually crashed. And it was like, look how good we're doing. Look how we're shooting down helicopters. It's like, That's from a movie, dude. That's not real. That's not even in the same. That's not even on the same continent. That's the right country. Come on.
Yeah, all the season 2 trailers I see on here are all either from late 2021 or early 2022. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, have they even announced the Book of Boba Fett season 2 yet?
no,
Not that
because
I'm aware
I
of.
think him and what's her face, Minghua, they'll end up in Mando 3.
And I would be fine with that. I honestly would. I mean, even if it was the kind of thing where one episode of Mando 3 had absolutely nothing to do with the Mandalorian and it was just Boba Fett.
Boba Fett making his way through the galaxy.
They did the same thing with the Book of Boba Fett. There was a whole episode. It was like, you're gonna have Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. So no, I think I wouldn't mind seeing him.
Yeah.
Are we at an hour?
His internet must have timed out again.
I was gonna say, are we at an hour? Did he?
Although I think he lasts a little longer than what he normally does.
We're at 56 minutes, and we had some pre-show stuff. So, there he is. Hang on. Hey, good to have you back.
It did the thing again where everybody froze, but I could still see the yellow boxes around your cameras to indicate that you were talking. So I mean, like, I don't have a fix for that other than you turn off, turn back on.
Okay, let's see.
You're just special, Kim.
Yep.
What do you mean by that, Debbie?
Yes, big fan trailer.
In the most adorning way. And I am loving Brotherhood, the book.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad.
It's really good, and then I think it ties in with things that have happened.
I really need to read more.
I recently started the Shadow of the Sith audiobook, the one that centers around Luke and Lando, and
I've heard that's good too.
It is. It is. I'm like 6 or 7 hours into it. It's 17 hours long in total. So I'm roughly a third of the way through, but it's really good. It contextualizes the entire sequel trilogy as far as like Rey's parents, Exegol, the Sith Eternal, Luke getting wrapped up in the search for Exegol, and his pilgrimage, I guess you could say, to go around to go and collect like Jedi and Sith artifacts, and it all ties together very nicely. It doesn't fix all the problems that I had with Rise of Skywalker, but it makes the film and, by extension, the sequel trilogy as a whole easier to connect with the rest of the Star Wars universe. So I appreciate it a lot for that. I'm having a good time listening to it.
Cool. Yeah, that's one of those ones. I saw that one. And in fact, I think you even said something about it on Facebook or something to where it was like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted about it in the Geeks Unite group.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was confused by the title, and then...
Go check out Geeks of the World Unite, Star Wars Geeks of the World Unite. It's great. You can check out Geek News Now while you're there. It's great. It's good stuff. A lot of cool things.
Geek News Now is much cooler.
Check out the website, geeknewsnow.net. We content constantly. A lot of stuff there to watch. Or look at. Articles, good stuff. We got an amazing team of writers, and they're all cranking out some amazing content. So, geeknewsnow.net. Go check it out. Anyway, do we have anything else for the Mortis arc?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. Shameless plugs.
It's a good arc. Huh?
You have any shameless plugs?
MCU Mondays. I have no idea what we're talking about this week outside of that meme you posted in our chat. I don't know if that's the whole show, but
that meme was that answered a lot of questions.
Just Go get a whole bunch of screenshots from the MCU, just like 100 screenshots of random moments, and make memes out of them for the entire show.
You should. That would be an idea. Chris, if you're watching, or if you watch later, idea.
Yeah, I'll have to text him and say, hey, what are we talking about? Because if I need to watch something, I need to watch it this weekend. Even though I just did, well, I don't think I've watched Black Panther yet, but pretty much did my rewatch of the Marvel movies.
Ooh.
My yearly rewatch.
Did you that Captain Marvel too?
Oh no, I haven't done two movies. Two movies I haven't watched yet. It was Black Panther and Captain Marvel.
I think the two I would skip would have been Captain Marvel and probably Captain America: The First Avenger. Oh, come on, you know.
I love that one.
Yeah. That movie was about 2/3 montage. That's all that was.
It was a backstory.
It was. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now, and it was.
I like it. Leave me alone.
You're allowed to like it. Okay,
like it.
I will tell you what everybody tells me when I tell them I love The Last Jedi. It's okay to love terrible movies.
Hey, this part of this right here, part of the Star Wars universe, we are not a toxic part of the fan base. We love you even if you like the crap that Star Wars puts out. You can come in here and say, "Oh, I love Resistance. That's like the greatest show ever." Okay, fine.
Oh,
that's your opinion, and you're entitled to it. Go for it.
We have to fight you on that one.
You can be wrong. It's okay.
It's okay.
God, that's like the most passive aggressive slap in the face. I hate that so much.
Oh my.
You can like it all you want to, but just sit down here and we'll tell you all the reasons that you're wrong.
Yeah, well, Debbie will sit here and tell you all the reasons Hayden Christensen should be in Return of the Jedi.
You're damn straight. Damn.
That's my big angle right there. Anytime this comes up, I'm like, aha, wait a minute.
Debbie thinks Hayden
I got something for you.
Next time Debbie says something about you liking The Last Jedi, you can say, yeah, well, you think Hayden Christensen's being Return of the Jedi.
Sebastian Stan was way cooler than him. No, wait, not Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian
oh, my
Shaw,
God.
Yeah.
You got me thinking about Marvel.
Becky!
Okay. We are out of here. We will end on a high note. How about that? We are out of here. We will see you not next week, because we won't be here next week, the week after next, and we will be discussing another arc of the Clone Wars. I haven't decided yet, but I've got 2 weeks to come up with it. We may decide that tonight. Then,
oh, Grant, you disappoint me.
Grant says, well, people talk to Thanks. No to Hayden and
Grant.
Debbie, it's okay.
Really
it's okay to like bad decisions.
I really liked you, Grant. Come on.
The
disappointment.
I was going to say, I think that's the first thing that Grant and Debbie have disagreed on. So, we will see you all.
Grant, it's okay.
We still love you. We will see you all week after next. But until then, everything is as the Force wills, and may the Force be with you all. Y'all have fun.